Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Storytime. Today's story is from my collection, Traveling Left of Center and Other Stories, and the story is called Beautiful Dreamer. Eleanor, Eleanor, you look beautiful tonight. The words drifted into her mind like leaves in an autumn breeze, settling softly in the forefront of her consciousness. She awoke to find the phone cradled between her cheek and the pillow, the insistent buzzing the only sound from the black receiver. Had there been a voice on the line, or had she only dreamed it? She had had dreams before, the kind that would wake her like an alarm bell. Heart pounding, pulse racing. It would take her several moments to get her bearings and know where she was and that she had been dreaming. Sometimes her mouth would be dry and her throat sore, as though she had carried on a long conversation with someone now absent. But she always knew when she'd been sleeping. However real the dreams would seem, and at times, the line between reality and dreamland was very fine indeed. She always knew the difference. She was certain this was not a dream. And yet no one had ever called Eleanor on the telephone. No one had ever told her she looked beautiful. No one talked to her at all, not to the real Eleanor, the one hiding behind the straight, dull brown hair, the plain face. They only talked to Eleanor the tenant, Eleanor the secretary, Eleanor, the faceless person amid thousands of other faceless people of the city. But now someone had seen her. Someone called her by name and told her she was beautiful. With that single phone call, everything had changed. "Good morning, miss," said the flower seller, as he did every day for the past 5 years when Eleanor passed his cart on her way to the bus stop. Usually, she nodded in return or mumbled a fast mornin' as she passed him. She didn't like talking to strangers. And although they had seen each other for half a decade, he was a stranger still. But this time she stopped and smiled at him. "How are you?" she asked, and without waiting for an answer went on talking. "Isn't it a lovely day?" He looked up at the sky, overcast and promising rain. "Oh, it's a wonderful day," she rushed on. "Oh my goodness, there's my bus." And she dashed to the stop, the few beginning drops of rain hardly halting her flight. "A lovely day," she repeated to the doorman of the building where she worked. "A perfectly marvelous morning," to the receptionist busy answering the phone and routing calls. Her enthusiasm lasted until lunchtime, fading only when no one came forward to talk to her, to tell her how beautiful she looked that day, to apologize, perhaps, for the late-night phone call. Today would be no different at all, she realized. It was just as if nothing had ever happened. So as I said, that is an excerpt from the story Beautiful Dreamer. How did it come about? Well, I have to confess, I talk in my sleep. I have been known to walk in my sleep. And I have definitely had the kind of dreams that were so real, so incredibly real, that when I awoke, I wasn't entirely sure if I had been dreaming or if whatever I dreamed about had taken place, perhaps the day before. And I was just remembering it, just recalling whatever had transpired. More than a few of my stories have to do with dreams, with people dreaming, with people not knowing the difference between dream life and real life. But in this particular case, poor Eleanor, at first she thought it was real. And she realized when no one came to talk to her that whether it was real or not, nothing was going to change. And as you read more of the story, you'll find out that Eleanor gets another call. It becomes a very blurry line for Eleanor between what actually happened, what actually might happen the next day, and the reality that it hadn't happened, that it was all just a dream. We like to think that dreams are good things, positive things, things to look forward to. But in this particular case, it becomes more and more challenging for Eleanor to navigate through real life when her dream life keeps pulling at her. I won't tell you what happens. I won't tell you if the story ends with her finding her dream person, and the dream person is a real person, or was it all just a dream for poor Eleanor? You will have to pick up a copy of Traveling Left of Center and read the story, and then let me know what you think. But in any case, I hope you find the story interesting, intriguing. And if you are a person who, like me, has those kind of dreams, try to remember them. Try to see what they are telling you. If you don't have dreams, I suppose you're kind of lucky. But it just all depends on what kind of dreams that you have. Thanks so much for joining me here at Storytime, and I look forward to bringing you another story from one of my collections. Thank you.